Okay, welcome to episode 2 of this AirMech Map Editor walkthrough where I'm just gonna be creating, or I'm gonna be creating a map for you to help you guys like make your own maps and stuff. And we already drew out the plan, the concept, drew it out in MS Paint last episode, and now we're actually gonna be making it in AirMech. And I do believe I said like the map size is gonna be based on chasm. No, Thar. Thar. It's gonna be roughly Thar's size. And we're gonna go to official maps. We're gonna just take the size of Thar right now and try to make a map around this size. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit trickier since Thar makes the map size based on diamonds, on a diamond grid. So it's gonna be harder to take it than just like if the squares are lined up better. So we're going to go to generate mode. We're going to start here at 30 by 30. We're just going to click reset tile. That'll kind of like slowly help us gauge how big this map is. See, 30 is too big here. And this is how you would do the same on any official map if you want to like take a size. Uh, I'm I'm not too comfortable like just doing a map without any size spacing. I like to base the size of my maps off of uh, other maps that already exist, and I feel like Thar would be a good fit for like the map that I'm making. So we're gonna go now. We're gonna lower this to 25. Hit reset. See, it dropped closer, but it's still not enough. We're gonna drop it to 20, and see now almost it's getting closer. It just hasn't reached like you want it to reach around to this blue grid. If you're working on a diamond like this, at least get the last tile to around touch that area. But if you're working on like one that's on a square where the tile grid lines up with the blue box, it's gonna be much easier to like size the map. But we're gonna have to use some math here to correctly size the map. Should we drop it a little more? Let's try 18. Is 18 good? A little better. Let's go for 15. Nope, that is not good. Yeah, that's do I have a plan on people going in this corner? No, I don't think the corner is of extreme significance. Maybe 16, but whatever. How AirMech generates its tiles with this generate mode is that the number here is the radius. Like so, from the center, the maximum radius it's gonna generate is 15 tiles away from that center point, and that's what I'm counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And as you can see, that's either one of the X or Y axis. This is a square and I don't really care. For the most part, I just want the longest side, which will be any of it. So it's going to be 15 outward, but this is a triangle on a diagonal, of course. So we're going to have to do some math. So how I want to calculate it is, I want this distance here, the whatever you call it, hypotenuse, whatever. It's a right triangle. It's gonna be pretty easy. So what I just wanted, so since it's just a right triangle, I think it's an isosceles, obviously. So this one size here, this is what I want to make a square map, because that's the type of map I want the tile orientation to be, like a normal grid square. So looking like more like this, set up a diamond that it is. So I want like this size here in AirMech radiuses, and how I can get that is just taking one half of this entire long ways, which is pretty easy to calculate since it's a triangle. So this long way is obviously 15, and if you know how Pythagorean theorem works, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to take 15 times 15. I'm doing this on a calculator, which you can't see, but 15 times 15 squared is 225. Multiply by that 2, that's 450. So 450 square root is, let's see, it's almost 21. It's almost 21, and you want to cut that in half. To 21 and a half is 10.5, and I'm just going to round it up to 11 to give me a little more space, and that's the size of the map that I want to be making. So I'm going to hit new map now, and now I'm a new map template, but I got my size ready. It's going to be more bigger long ways, so I'm going to so the Y I want it to be this smaller. I'm going to make it 11, the size of ZAR, and how does ratios work? 11 divided by 3 times 4. It's roughly 15 if I want this. And this will be like the rough size that I want my map. It's almost, this here, it's almost a 4:3 ratio. And this is what I want. And remember that we drew out the map earlier, so this middle area, I think direct middle, I'll just turn it into dead space. With I'm going to go out like this entire area. This what I made with generate mode right now is what this is going to be the play area. Like all these tiles we're going to be able to use. I'm going to show you guys how to easily create the background tiles, which you'll see with the camera, but you can't actually play in it later, and it'll be using generate mode again. We're probably not going to use any of the other tools here. We don't really need it. This symmetry is asymmetry, so it's not going to work with this symmetry we're doing we're going to make on the map. It's just going to go through the straight line mirror. This doesn't do that. It's asymmetry, I believe. We're going to go back to tile mode now and start changing this up. We do know this is the center, and I believe I put the dead space in the center. I'm just going to eyeball this right now, and this specific tile works on this tile on any of the tile types. This actual tile is, it looks like a flat tile, but it actually is the ones used in craters and chasms where you can't put units down in them, but your mech can fly above them. We're gonna use that to help mark make the little dead space in the middle, and we're gonna start moving the forts back up at the top. Remember this, it's gonna look weird a bit since you're not making the out of bounds area first. You're not looking at the out of bounds area, you're just looking at the entire play field. So if you put something on the edge, it's gonna really look weird compared to a normal AirMech map, but because it'll probably look like this, and this will look normal to you. But since we're going to be working only in the play area right now before we make the out of bounds, it's just gonna look a bit uncomfortable to you. I'm gonna put it on the exact amount. Go down a little more. This tile looks fine. I'm just gonna want to see the coordinates. -96 by 64, so we're gonna give it that. -96 by 64, put it at 0. That's the x position is -96, the y position is 64, and the z, which is the height, is 0. There's no height right now. That's probably how I'm going to do it. We're going to do the same to this fort here. This fort's just going to flip the signs around, so any positives will go to negative and negatives will go to positive. Alright, if we're doing that, so yeah, there we go. Oh well, if you're doing like the asymmetry, that's what you do. This is going to confuse me a bit later because I don't make these types of symmetric maps that often. So for asymmetry, you just, for the symmetry that I'm doing on this map here, just flip the X sign. That should do it. This kind of should get you the layout this is the beginning of the layout of like the concept that we were drawing back in MS Paint. So around this area too, there's going to be another set of dead space, but I don't feel like I want it to be a crater. I'm going to move it back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like to have roughly 4 tile space for anything. That is also convenient since one of the bigger ramp tiles will consume 2, and usually when I like to do big ramps, I like to use 4, but we're probably not going to use ramps on this map, but I'm still used to doing that, so I'm just going to make it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units out from the edge, and this is where we're going to create our other dead space, but I don't want it to go into a crater like that. I wanted to give some cover for any units that want to be here. It's not going to be the big huge one. I could always put props on top to prevent players from dropping on units on top of it, but we're gonna put some of this increased height here to help block any units that might want to be passing. And we're probably going to be to the other side too, straight from the middle, because that's how I lined it up. 2, 3, 4, 5. So then start building it here. 2. Is that how I did it? Okay. Whoops, but that still works. And also certain tiles have this, but they immediately come with, like, say a tile of a hole. You might be wondering what this is for, but this is mostly a cosmetic tiles for any elevators that you make. So it'll allow you to see visually, cosmetically see the unit rise up, as opposed to just using like a normal tile, which you can't see the unit rise from the elevator, of course. But this is only for fun. We're just gonna put these here to mark where I want the elevators to go. Oh, that also reminds me, we gotta make this bottom area too. Right, so if I want to make it thin and somewhat cloggy, I think I want to make it 2 units wide, but maybe have a little props to help create that block that'll slowly build up. But I still want to allow it slightly big, relatively big, so a decent size force can go through it. But remember how the shape in the MS Paint I did it like tucks up a bit, something like that. Like you could see me just highlighting it right now. That's a shape like that, straight from the middle. I think this is fair. Like how I wanted to make this divot, it's somewhat makes it harder to concave on here a little bit. You get less room, but less rush room. But say if I put a rock here or something, it'll provide a little bit of cover for any team to use. Not entirely defensive, really. It benefits from it, because it could be stopping a group of units here from firing on a group of units coming from here, but whatever. We're not doing that right now. We're making that thing, this area down here that I was showing you, that I put on the concept. Don't mind me rambling too much. I'm just too crazy. Just gonna build this up. Build it down more like it. Oh, did I? Nope. Yeah, this should be the right size. I don't like how big that divot is. Maybe I'll move it up a bit. Move it down a bit, I mean. You have to redo it tile by tile. AirMech doesn't have an easy paint tool that'll work 100% of the time you like. It does have a paint tool, but I absolutely hate it. It does not always give you results that you want. It's hard, and I tried using it before the undo button, of course, and which made it really annoying to use. Like if it does too much, then you have to clean it up yourself. That's stupid, in my opinion. I'm going to continue building this a bit, and yeah, I'm gonna do one of those double ramps that you, oh, bad place, double ramp that I was saving up this 2 tile spot for. It's gonna be bigger for units to more easily roll down, of course. Oof. Just gotta mirror it. I can't use the gonna say it again, you can't use the symmetry tool since it only works for asymmetry. But if you power through it or you make a simple map, you don't have to worry about that too much. About needing to go crazy on the tiles. And this is relatively almost done of what I need to put the lockbox spawns. I'll put them right here. Right here seems good. Mark them with the holes here. Not all maps have that, I tell you again. And we're gonna finish making this dead space, crater, chasm, whatever. We're gonna use the big ledge this time. Finish this rift up. It's gotta work really simple right now. That's of course since we're making a we're not like on the detail phase. We're just creating the actual layout on the map. Because this once you get this set up, this is relatively simple, but design it'll get more complex, especially since if you want to like help guide players, you're gonna have to have good props instead of just terrain to help guide them. You're gonna be using props to help visualize to players like where to go, what's the next step. Oh, we need to save this map. The map editor stores this stuff alphabetically, of course starting with numbers, and I want this at the top of the list. So I'm going to write 0, 0, A. What map we're going to call it? I don't have a name yet, so I'm going to call it new map. I'm just going to give this weird name so it just starts at the top. And we're going to reload it so that anytime we use the save button, it'll save. If you just click save without using save as first, it's not going to save the map. It's going to frustrate you a lot since you're going to lose all of your progress that you just made. I'm going to get a quick save. So it's going to give the route without saving. That's going to trick you because you can't actually save before you use save as, and it's like we're going to load it up. Oh no, I didn't yet. Here it is. Higher on the list, you have 6 pages. I do not want it that deep to scroll through it, so I just want it at the top. I need to clean up my map builder later. And so now we can start placing the outposts where I want it. For now, we're going to use basic outposts. It's nothing. Only use the V2s. If you don't see a V2 on it, it's probably not going to work like how the official maps work. It's probably going to be a really buggy outpost that doesn't really work well. You're just going to place them. Yeah, you have to drag and drop. Drag and drop. I really do not recommend clicking and copy pasting with shift. So you could what's something easy I could copy paste. Let me put a prop down and show you. You could click on something, hold shift, and then click and drag and it will copy an item. I do not recommend doing it for outposts. It sometimes makes them buggy, and I would prefer you to stay in prefabs and just re-drag out every outpost, sadly. We're just gonna set up the map wrong, and we're gonna put them in the right spots a bit later. Alright, so I'm gonna start setting the spots. This one's 0, -32. I want this outpost there, -32. You have to hit enter for things to apply. When you use text boxes, please note that. Some people don't realize that, and then they start asking around like, I can't do such and such in the map editor, when all you have to do is press enter. We're also going to change the team to neutral. You might recognize the team numbers from either sandbox or just delving around the units tab, but this is generally it. It's gonna, using code numbering system, gonna start from 0. Even if they start changing up the names and stuff, it's still gonna start from basic 0 and just count up. So the player 0 is of course the first player, who usually goes on that blue fort there, team 1 as it's called in this tab, and it goes to 9, 10, 11. So usually how this works is all even number players are on the first team and all odd players are on the other team, except for the neutrals. Neutrals at some point, in this case 10, anything after 9 is neutral now. That's the third team that doesn't really play. It's just like the gray units that you see around the maps. And that's what we want to make this outpost for. We're gonna delete that 0 in the team ID and type 10, and it'll turn gray. Now this outpost is on the neutral team, and it's in the spot where we want it for now. Do I exactly want to reflect it? How much is here? 2 space. Maybe I'll... Yeah, I'll put it in the same spot, like, or will be a reflection, 32, 0, 32, 0, 32. I like to do this, type in the position, find an area, type in the position, since it's faster than, and more accurate than just dragging a thing around. Like I could position it here, like this is generally where I wanted it on the concept, but I find it, personally, I prefer it more just to use the position box to give a more accurate placing. It just feels more comfortable to me to do that. Oh, we need this to be neutral too. We're not gonna change the team infantry yet. We haven't gone into thinking about balance. Excuse me there. I'm just gonna set these to neutral too, because on the, if you remember the concept that we drew, that was also gray. And part of the advantage of working with these types of outposts is that you really don't have to care about the orientation, the rotation that much. Now if you want to compare it to like the factory or the power station, now you have to care about the rotation because the pads will be in different places. Like, see, it's not all the same. On the power station, it's symmetric through like only one line, really. Actually, not really, since these 2 bunkers are in different positions. We're going to delete that. We're done looking at it. Now this bugger is the most annoying one, especially if you have tight terrain. It's annoying to get all these bunkers to be placed correctly, because that's where the infantry need to go to capture it. And if you mess up on one of the bunkers, the infantry can't pass and go into it. And really gets annoying on like certain placements. Like if you want to be symmetric, this is going to be a real pain to put this as a middle outpost, since there's absolutely nowhere that's completely the same for. You just got to just deal with it if you want, but we're not gonna have to worry about that. It's gonna leave that effect there. We don't have to care about it. Now we're gonna have to set the location of these outposts. We want to size them generally. Since this is for me right now, you probably won't make a map like this. I feel like I have a grasp on what I'm doing, so I'm going to keep these 2 outposts relatively close, but these other outposts are going to be relatively far, a decent sized distance away from each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. That's cool. And it's going to be a little bit longer for there, but these cluster outposts are going to be nice and cool, right next to you, safe and sound. Where do I want it? Do I want it? This outpost to sit at the location of 10440, negative 10440, 0. Boom, now it's there. We're gonna start it. No, I'll do that later when I care about it. Set this so I know it's team 1, because of course all odd numbers is on the other team. We're gonna reflect it, 10440. Boom, it's in position. Now to set these bottom outposts up. Right. Where do I want it? Slightly to the bottom, but... Here's a good look. I think this is fair. 9648. Negative 96, negative 48, 0. Boom. And his buddy will be 8064. Negative 80, negative 64, 0. Or maybe a little closer. Alternatively, you could use the arrow keys to move it up. I believe... Yeah, one tap of the keyboards will move it like, I think, 1.5 units? No, I have no idea how many units that is. Yeah, 1.5 units. But if you just tap it without any, tap the arrow keys without anything, it'll just move it in that whatever direction, 1.5 units. But if you hold control and you tap it, that should move it 10 units, or 2 units? Well, I do remember there was a command to do 10 units, but I don't I don't use that often, but 2 units is cool. 1, 2, 1, 2. Get it a little closer. 1, 2. Does that look fair? Looks fair to me. And I'm gonna move it back one more. Are they on the tips of these? Yeah, I want them on the tips of that. So now, yeah, I know this. 82, 62. This one has a negative, so it's 82, negative 62, 0. Oh, I moved the position of the creep itself. Nope, I do not want that. 82, negative 62. No, 64 was it? Oh, I already lost count. 82, 62. Oh, that should be right. Never mind me, I'm crazy. 64, no, 94, 50. So 94, negative 50. Put the 0 there. Oh yeah, if you don't enter a text box in a certain place, it'll just default back to 0. That's the default. That's cool. If you're rushing. Alright, so I think the last thing we'll do for this episode is we're just gonna place down the elevators. Because this I'm not gonna use any of the actual terrain tiles yet. See, the canyon tile has this road, and I want to use that. It'll help. I'm thinking it could help guide players to like thinking where to go, right? And also help convey that there's a urban environment and going to be in like this area here. We need the actual props to do that. There are no like building tiles, absolutely none. It's just terrain tiles is what this game AirMech Map Editor has. And we're just gonna finish by putting down the elevators, and those are in the props for some reason, and they've always been in the props for a very long time. You could find them manually by scrolling through tediously and finding it at all the way on page 25, or you could type in the filter elevator. Nope, I don't think that's the Ella. Nope, because I used a different name. Oh, I'm spelling elevator wrong. Ella. Boom. Elevator. And you should have an elevator. And this you're more free to go copy paste instead of the outpost. It's not a prefab and much easier. And how it works, it's going to be really hard to tell like which direction you is going to pop up facing, but since the boxes we don't care, but generally if you haven't moved the camera yet, this area that's sticking up, that's where the unit's going to be facing if it comes up. And if you hit the greater than or less than sign, it's going to turn it 90 by whatever direction. By less than will turn the object 90 degrees counterclockwise, while greater than will turn it 90 degrees clockwise. And we're going to do that here on this one. Boom. Alright, and we're gonna, and this is how I easily flip objects, and I hit less than twice. Boom, right there. It's now in the right direction. I'm gonna Control M will put a prop, will match the height of whatever prop or terrain it's on top of. It's really useful if you want to put flat, if you want to like easily bring a prop to the surface, but I need to slightly raise it since it's above it. Ooh, that's a bit too much above. That's good. And it's still facing towards the left. We're gonna hit greater than once and it'll face up, but I feel like I want it to face down, even though no units except for a box, which doesn't really care what side comes out, will be coming out of it. We're gonna copy paste it one more time, and now we're gonna get the exact coordinates since we're just done placing them all. This one is 72, 0, so we're gonna put that in. Negative 72, 0, and add a little bit of height, 0.1. And this one should be the opposite, 72, 0. 72, 0. 0.1. There we go. Ooh, I need a 16, negative 80. Let's go do that. 16, negative 80. Don't need that 5. And this should be negative 16, 80. Oop. And now this does just about most of the main gameplay features that you need on the map. You could actually just load this up now, save it, and publish it, and you could play this as a functional map. But this, of course, looks too simple, ugly, and like no one's done anything on it. Right? We're gonna now start touching it up. Alright, we're gonna make sure to hit save. You should probably do it a bit more often in case you get a random crash or the save fails and causes the game to crash and then you lose all your progress. We did a quick save there, and this is what episode? Episode 2. And this is the end of episode 2 now. See you guys next time on this AirMech walkthrough, AirMech Map Editor walkthrough.